Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Welcome to the Montgomery County Commission meeting for Tuesday, May 11th. This meeting is being conducted by video conference via zoom.us due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This meeting will be live streamed on the county's Facebook page at Montgomery County, will be available on local public access television, DATV, and will be posted on the county's website at www.mcohio.org per guidelines approved by House Bill 197 and extended by House Bill 404. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Commissioner Lieberman,
Here.
Commissioner Dodge.
Here. County Engineer.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Administrator, ladies and gentlemen. We have a number of resolutions on the agenda today. The first is Resolution 21-502 to authorize a lease agreement with Stephen F. Wells for the Engineer Inspector's Field Office. It's the North Office for approximately 1,000 square feet of space located at 7115 North Dixie Drive, Suite B, at a rate of $700 per month through March 15th of 2022. 503 is to amend the agreement with Outdoor Enterprise for the Whip Road Bridge Replacement Project in Washington Township by adding $33,600 to the original amount for a revised total of $388,830 and extending the completion date and road closure date to July 2nd, 2021. We had to reject the pipe, a large pipe that was delivered the first time it came in because it did not meet the specifications to our satisfaction. So to make sure that didn't happen again, we went to a different type of pipe that we're satisfied will be in good shape when it arrives. So that resulted in a delay of the project. The extra cost is the difference in the two different types of pipe. 504 is to prepare and submit a grant application to the Transportation Review Advisory Council for the North Dixie Drive, Northwoods Boulevard, Lightner Road Improvements Project. 505 is to authorize the closing of Dogleg Road between Old Springfield Road and Union Air Park Boulevard, lasting approximately 45 days for a sanitary and water main extension. And then we have two agreements to authorize. 506 is for Palmer Engineering for professional engineering services for the Dayton Cincinnati retaining wall project at a cost not to exceed $50,085 through June 30th of 2023. And 507 is with Bituminous Pavement Systems LLC for the 2021 crack seal program countywide at their lowest and best bid of $114,602.02 through October 1st of 2022.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
County Sheriff.
Excuse me. Thank you, Commissioners. Under the County Sheriff, we have Resolution 508, submit a grant application to the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Office of Criminal Justice Services, Edward Bourne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant for the Regional Agency's Narcotics and Gun Enforcement Task Force in an amount of $80,000.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Common Pleas Court.
Under the Common Pleas Court, we have Resolution 509, authorizing payments by warrant for Common Pleas Court. Resolution 510, submit a grant application to the State of Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, Bureau of Community Sanctions for the Justice Reinvestment and Incentive Grant in an amount of $740,000 for FY 2022 and 2023.
I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Law Library.
Under the Law Library, we have Resolution 511, authorize the digital library contract with LexisNexis Matthew Bender in an amount not to exceed $95,503 for a 3-year term.
I move for approval.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
County Administrator.
Under the Clerk's Office, we have approved the minutes of the meeting on May 4th, 2021. Resolution 512, approval of bills, and that list is available in the Clerk's Office.
I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Administrative Services.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have just a handful of resolutions for your consideration today. First is 513. This is the approval of personnel actions. This list is available in the clerk's office. 514 authorizes a payment by warrant to the Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority in the amount of $7,391.45. 515 amends the agreement with HDR for the jail master plan by increasing the original amount by $45,747 for a revised total of $539,247 due to a change in the scope of work. 516 authorizes the purchase through a state term contract from Motorola Solutions Incorporated for portable communication radios for the sheriff's office in an amount not to exceed $63,826. The last two resolutions solicit bids. The first is 517. This is to solicit bids for the purchase of brass parts for the Environmental Services Department. And last 518 requests bids for window washing services for the Facilities Management Department.
Commissioners, I would ask Tyler if he would, before you approve. Tyler, if you could elaborate on resolution 515.
Sure. Thanks, Michael. In 2019, we hired HDR as a consultant to review the current jail infrastructure and put together some options for how we can move forward with a modernized jail facility that can accommodate inmates in various stages of mental, physical, and behavioral health, as well as drug and alcohol detox. Although the pandemic did slow us down just a little bit, we have been working with HDR to accomplish that very task. However, we also want to make sure that we are as thorough and strategic as possible while being mindful of tax dollars. With that said, we are asking for a slight scope modification that includes two primary things. First of all, we would like to see a few additional modifications incorporated into some of our existing concepts. And second, in an effort to reduce cost and leverage the useful life of the existing jail, we would obviously like to use as much of the current structure as possible. However, we would also like to compare this to a concept that would meet all of those health and detox needs I just outlined under a single roof. We believe this modification to the project scope will allow us to present a more comprehensive list of options for you, the commissioners, and the sheriff to consider as we continue to invest in our community and to provide much needed services to those in our custody.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
move approval.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Environmental Services, Matt.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have four resolutions today. The first two are to authorize agreements. Resolution 519 with Viking Painting LLC for construction of the Centerville North Tank Rehabilitation Project at their lowest and best bid of $1,379,650 through June 30th, 2022. Resolution 520 with Gray Matter Systems LLC to conduct a network architecture and cybersecurity risk, resiliency, and network design in an amount not to exceed $24,347.85. The last two are to accept official checks. Resolution 521 for DO Farm Water Main Extension Development in the amount of $5,000. Resolution 522 with exchange at Spring Valley Senior Living Center Development in the amount of $23,722.
I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, I would ask Matt if he would. Matt, can you talk about resolution 520?
Sure. Thanks, Michael. If you look through the news today, you'll see that Colonial Pipeline, which transports fuel across the East Coast, was a victim of a cyber attack. This comes on the heels of a cyber intruder attempting to put poisonous levels of lye in Tampa, Florida's drinking water back in February. And these are just two examples of the types of cyber threats that pose a risk to our key components of our water and sewer operations. We are asking Gray Matter Systems to identify the areas of our system most at risk and then determine how to minimize or eliminate our risk of being attacked by a hacker, ransomware, or other type of a cyber threat.
Well, I mean, it's a sad thing that we have to consider this, but I think it's wise to be proactive on it and probably have to do this continually over years as, technological advancements and the criminals or whoever is doing this probably, try to stay one step ahead of us. But I totally approve and appreciate that you're doing that.
Thank you.
So is that a motion to approve, Carolyn?
No, I can, sure.
You already approved it.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, OMB, John. John Parks.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. We also have 4 resolutions for your consideration here. Number 523 to authorize appropriation amendments. 524 to authorize additional appropriations. 525 to authorize cash transfers. And 526 to authorize appropriation amendments by transfer from general fund contingencies.
I move for approval.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Tom, do you have water, a glass of water with you? Because you've got quite a few things to read off. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Tom, Human Services.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Dodge. As you mentioned, I do have quite a list here. I'll begin with under Human Services Planning and Development. Resolution 527 declares it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of health and human or social services pursuant to section 5705.191 of the Ohio Revised Code. Then we also have a lengthy list, as you mentioned, which will amend agreements by redistributing unspent monies from 2020 into 2021. And that list includes 528 with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Greater Miami Valley Incorporated for Bigs and Badges at East Dayton After School Miracles in the amount of $3,332.60. 529 Boys and Girls Club of Dayton for the Ready to Learn program in the amount of $2,300. 530 with Catholic Social Services of Miami Valley for the Senior Outreach Program in the amount of $11,499.81. 531 with Daybreak Incorporated for Daybreak Opportunity Zone Program in the amount of $294.89. 532 Goodwill Easter Seals of the Miami Valley for the Miami Valley Works in the amount of $5,343.70. 533 also with Goodwill Easter Seals of Miami Valley for Adult Day Services in the amount of $10,000. 534 with Grace United Methodist Church for the Dayton Cooks Program in the amount of $6,459.73. 535 Greater Dayton Volunteer Lawyers Project for pro bono legal services, the amount of $3,206.70. 536 with Legal Aid of Western Ohio Incorporated for collaborative holistic legal services in the amount of $2,388.61. 537 also with Legal Aid of Western Ohio. For legal services for frail elderly individuals in the amount of $13,349.04. 538 Miami Valley Housing Opportunities for the Supportive Living Assistance for Tenant Empowerment Program in the amount of $1,000. 539 Omega Community Development Corporation for the Pathways Program in the amount of $1,081.69. 540 Senior Resource Connection for home delivered meals for under 60 in the amount of $5,036.80. 541 also Senior Resource Connection for the Community Geriatric Nurse Services in the amount of $7,396.11. 542 is also with Senior Resource Connection for emergency home delivered meals in the amount of $15,308.80. 543 Wesley Community Center Incorporated for the West Dayton Family Success Network the amount of $827.75. 544, West Care, Ohio, doing business as East End Community Services for senior outreach services in the amount of $1,576.65. 544 is also with West Care, Ohio, doing business as East End Community Services for community outreach and coordination in the amount of $7,316.57. 546 is with the YWCA Dayton for Homeless Crisis Response Program services in the amount of $41,368.16. So each of those will allow for us to fully utilize the funding that was available 2020, carried to 2021, to work with each of those community agencies in the safety net programs from the Human Services Levy. Then under the Department of Job and Family Services, we have one resolution. It is 547, and it will authorize an agreement to provide eligibility, referral, and support services to Kettering Adventist Healthcare, doing business as Kettering Health Network, with funding in actual amounts of 50% of expenses incurred for salaries, fringe benefits, and other costs through December 31st, 2021.
Before the commissioners approve, can you elaborate on resolution 527, please?
Yes, thank you. Commissioners, as you're aware, the Human Services Levy is the means you have in place that provides the local funding necessary to support community-based health and human services for the entire county. Whether it's the core city of Dayton or the surrounding suburbs that make up the entire county. It provides critically supported services, whether it's child welfare, developmental disability services, or public health services, those preventive or treatment services in alcohol, drug addiction, and mental health, services for our frail elderly senior population, our homeless population, indigent health care, and those that really provide the core underpinnings of the safety net for those citizens in the community that really need services. Human services levies have been strongly supported by the citizens of Montgomery County for well over 40 years now. About 2 weeks ago now, you accepted the recommendation of the volunteer oversight board you have in place, the Human Services Levy Council, as they recommended to you that they felt that at this time, a renewal of Levy A was appropriate, given where we are with the pandemic, with rises in property values, and recognizing that our citizens are probably not in a position right now where a tax increase would be helpful to them. So they brought forward the recommendation to not increase taxes. You accepted that recommendation. You asked the auditor's office to certify what those projected revenues would look like. And so with today's action, you'll be taking the final step in moving that levy renewal, which will not increase taxes, on to the Board of Elections so that it can be placed on the ballot November the 2nd for the citizens to react to and vote on. The last time this levy was up for vote was 2017, and it passed by citizen approval with a 64% passage rate. More recently, in 2020, its partner levy was also on the ballot and passed with a 75% passage rate. So today you are taking that final step and moving it on to the Board of Elections. So I am presenting it this afternoon for your final approval so it can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Yeah, and this Human Services Levy is just so needed because we do our best to help our most vulnerable citizens here in Montgomery County, and this levy is just godsend to them. So we appreciate the work of the board and everything that they do and all the different agencies. And we've been so fortunate because our citizens here in Montgomery County understand the great need that's out there. So they've always been very supportive of the Human Services Levy. So thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Good
Business
job.
Services, Chris.
Thank you, Commissioner. Under Business Services, Workforce Development, we have 0548, authorizing work experience and guidance program agreements with various local businesses through December 31st, 2021. And under Community Economic Development, we have 0549, authorizing the purchase through a state term schedule with Carasoft and the Acela Civic Application Solution, including plan review subscription services and maintenance services for the Building Regulations Department, an amount not to exceed $447,347.01 through June 30th, 2026.
Chris, can you talk about Resolution 548? Because it's an exciting time and it's coming around again, and it'll be an exciting time for our youth.
Yeah, absolutely. Our YCS 365, as we call it, experience youth career services. It's largely seen as a summer employment program for our local youth. It's actually 365 days a year. We're kind of remonstrating the program starting to come out of COVID-19. We have several hundred youth signed up already for employment this summer. But like I said, that's for 14 to 18-year-olds, but we have 18 to 24-year-olds working 365 days a year. And basically what that program does is it teaches life skills, job readiness. We provide skill assessments. It provides work experience and career counseling to the kids, young and adult, and it benefits our employers by getting youth ready for life after school. And it also is a fully funded program, so it doesn't cost our employers anything.
It is fully funded. And this is one of those that our partners at the state tried to take away. And Michael and I fought to keep this. And we really were one of the only counties that was like, oh, no. This is something we're going to continue. It works. It is successful. And so we kept lobbying, and we were able to keep, because they wanted to do a whole new plan that we were like, that won't work. But it's great because we put the kids to work. Last summer was disappointing, but this summer, hopefully we'll be back up to the numbers that we've had in the past. And, it's so great to talk to the youth when they're working and in the program, just to be able to have money they don't usually save it, but, to have money to help their mom or dad out and, buy their own stuff, but also to get that critical work skill early on in their life. It's so important.
Absolutely. Thank you, commissioners. Thank
So,
you, Chris.
I will move for approval, but first, can we talk just for a minute about 49? So Excella, it's going to work, right? It's going to, really help everyone that uses this system. And we have never used Excella before, correct?
That is correct. It is Robert Martin, the head of building regulations, the lead building official for Montgomery County, and his team did a great job vetting all the possible solutions, demoing many of them, and coming up with this final solution, which is not just going to allow us moving all the way through 2026. It's going to allow the people who are utilizing building regulations to have a more streamlined service.
Chris, can you talk a little bit, let the commissioner know about the electronic plan review part of this? Because the plans can now be submitted digitally?
Yeah.
Correct. We're working hard with our vendor here to come up with a streamlined process for people to submit plans for the plan review process electronically. So during the original tornado and then through the pandemic, we tried to move to a digital platform using existing software, which was hit and miss, quite honestly. So this is going to allow us to be far more effective, far more efficient, and allow people to submit without actually having to come down.
Okay, so this is going to age me. Everybody's going to know how old I am. But 30 years ago, when I started in the auditor's office, and I was the director of real estate, and one of the biggest complaints that we got was that the building permits were different for not every jurisdiction, but almost. And when they kept saying, can't you guys streamline this? Can't you streamline this? So it only took us 30 years. And I had my 30th anniversary March 11th this year. So, but thank you. This is exciting. I'm sure everybody, once they figure out how to use it, will be thrilled about it. And so please thank the team for
Will do.
me.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Okay, I actually didn't do it. I said I'm going to. I move for approval.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, under County Commissioners, 21-0550, reappoint Jennifer Heapy to the Family and Children's First Council, representing Greater Dayton Premier Management through May 14th, 2023. And 0551, reappoint Sarah Hackenbrack to the Family and Children's First Council, representing the Greater Dayton Area Hospital Association through June 30th, 2023. And we are pulling Resolution 0552.
Okay, I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, next we have a hearing, 21-0553 on the Little York Road Bridge Replacement Project. Paul, did you want to start it?
Yes, Commissioners, today's a hearing. We had the viewing last week, and Joe Dura, our project manager, will give a presentation. And following that, we'll have time for citizens to speak and ask questions and provide comments.
Okay.
And Ward has to swear us in.
Thank you, Mr. Gruner, Mr. Dura, Mr. LaChance, and Mr. Baldry. Good afternoon, gentlemen. If you all are going to make statements to the commissioners, because this is an actual hearing, I would ask you to take an oath. If you're just going to listen, you don't need to. I'll give you that option. If you are wishing to speak or address the commission, I would ask that you raise your right hand. Mr. Baldry, do you have a camera, sir?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem. Mr. Baldry, Mr. LaChance, Mr. Gruner, and Mr. Dura, if you gentlemen will please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do.
That's right.
I do.
Very good. Thank you all.
Thank you. Hey, Joe.
All right, much appreciated, everybody, commissioners, administrator, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen here for just a moment. Just to confirm that everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Again, this is the hearing for the Little York Road Bridge Replacement Project. My name is Joseph Durr. I'm the project manager for this bridge replacement. This structure on Little York Road is located between the intersections of Branford Road and North Dixie Drive along Little York Road, immediately to the west of the drive to the Christian Life Center. Scope of the project is to simply replace the existing structure. There is a county sanitary sewer and a water main that is needing some modifications to accommodate the new structure. And we intend to address and eliminate the guardrail by upgrading the structure to provide safety grading. Also coordinating with CenterPoint Energy, what used to be Vectren, they will be replacing a gas line in advance of this particular project. So some photos of the existing job site. Photo on the left is standing from the Christian Life Center's drive east of the structure, looking along Little York Road to the west. It's just a 2-lane roadway. Photo on the right is standing at the inlet of the structure, looking south toward the into the structure. It is a metal corrugated pipe it's an arch structure which sits on concrete footers. There is very minimum cover over top of the structure. It would not meet current design standards for that minimum cover. Looking inside the structure, though the overall shape of the arch is okay, where the metal meets the concrete footer, we have roughly about 50% section loss. So what that means is about half of the thickness of that metal has rusted away. And finally, again, coordinating with CenterPoint Energy, what was Vectren, they will relocate what is currently an aerial gas line, which crosses over the channel on the north side, and get that underground. It's because of the structural, the loss of that metal section at the footer that this structure needs to be replaced. To do this project, though there is ample room for the structure in general, we are going to request some temporary right-of-way along the south side, and that is specifically for the grading, the safety grading to eliminate the guardrail, as well as a physical room to construct the new structure. So for an aerial of the site, we're looking down onto the structure. Structure's middle of the screen. North is up, south is down. Christian Life Center's drive is off to the right. It's predominantly residential, single-family units in this particular area. Only one property will be directly affected by this project in regards to additional right-of-way, specifically temporary, and that is parcel 6, the Kessler property. And that is again needed for adding the safety grading to eliminate the guardrail and to physically construct the structure. Looking south at the Kessler property, you can see the guardrail off to the right where the existing structure is. So it's the vegetated area, the trees adjacent to the guardrail, those would be affected as part of this project. But their driveway, which is straight ahead in this image, in the home, are well outside any work limits. Cost of the project, design was done in-house. The cost of that temporary right-of-way will be established by a real estate appraiser that we will hire. Construction is estimated at about $350,000, and we have received a grant through the Ohio Public Works for $173,250 for eligible project costs. Regarding the schedule, we have completed the design. We are now moving into the right-of-way phase of the project, which we anticipate to be wrapped up in December. We will advertise and award the project starting in January and execute a contract in February 22. One thing that we have done, Christian Life Center has reached out and shared some information. I've modified the schedule for this project. It does not materially change what we need to do. We will write into the contract that the Little York Road will not close until April 18th at the earliest. Due to the need for construction, 45 working days, the project will complete sometime in July. So we won't close the road till after Easter. That will be written into the contract. Then for the project, the road will have to be closed for the physical type of work to be done. The detour for this will take people along Peters Pike, to Stone Quarry Road, to North Dixie Drive. To assist in providing notifications to as many impacted people as we can, we typically notify schools, we notify fire and EMS. We will also provide notification to the Christian Life Center. We typically, for fire, for schools, we provide 3 weeks advance notice as to when the road will physically close. So we will write into the contract that in addition to fire and school, the CLC will also be notified. And with that, if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. Mr. Baldry, would you like to make any comments or have any questions?
No, that was my main concern of just being able to delay that until after Easter. So, Mr. Dura, we are greatly appreciative of your willingness to make that accommodation.
You're very welcome.
And Mr. LaChance, did you have any comments?
Oh, I just would like to say, again, as Michael said, I would like to thank this for being willing to adjust that schedule. I think that addresses, the biggest concern that our congregation and staff at Christian Life Center had. So appreciate your consideration on that.
You're welcome.
If there's no other questions, I will raise the motion to close the public hearing and determine that the project is needed and the safety, convenience, and welfare for the traveling public requires the Little York Road Bridge Replacement Project in Butler County, or Butler Township, excuse me, and recognize it also necessary to facilitate the right of the public to improvement and maintenance of and uninterrupted travel to county roads pursuant to Chapter 5553 of the Ohio Revised Code, and authorizes the county engineer to proceed with right-of-way negotiations.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up, do we have any, Madam Clerk, any comments, any written comments by any citizens?
We do. We received one comments from a constituent, Mr. Jackson Heil with Germantown, Ohio. And I will go ahead and read that now. On the week of April 15th, 2021, an incident took place in Germantown between 9 and 11 a.m. involving two dogs running at large. I walked out my front door and was confronted by two large dogs digging in my flower beds. When I approached them to run them away, the larger of the two began growling and barking. Noticing the other dog was a pit bull hybrid, I retreated into my house to call the Montgomery County Dog Warden. I called the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center at 937-898-4457, followed the automated system to reach the dog warden, where I was instructed to leave a message and they would return my call. So I then proceeded to call Montgomery County Dispatch to reach the Germantown Police Department. They sent an officer to my house where he was able to load the pit bull hybrid into the back of his patrol car, but was not able to load the large dog. He proceeded to contact the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center, where we were told by their secretary that their kennel was full and they are not currently accepting dogs, so they will not be able to send out the dog warden to retrieve these dogs. The officer then drove around the neighborhood to find the dog's owners. In this case, he did find the owners and instructed them about containing their dog. I then took it upon myself to call the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center again to find out why exactly the dog warden was refusing to come retrieve dogs that have been captured. I left a message for the director to call me back, which he did so an hour later. When he called me back, he asked me to walk him through that morning's incidents. He denied that one of their secretaries would have told the officer and myself their kennel was full and they are not currently accepting dogs, so they will not be able to send out the dog warden to retrieve these dogs. I continued to inquire as to why they were denying dogs and asked why they could not outsource to other counties or euthanize animals when they are at capacity, which they quite often do, coming from a news release a week later. He proceeded to tell me that they quit euthanizing dogs because of the previous director, which I continued to tell him is no excuse as to why he is not doing his job and sending the dog warden out to retrieve captured dogs. I expressed to him my concern of the one dog being a pit bull hybrid, and I was told you cannot make an assumption about the breed based on the name. I also expressed concern about the larger dog, not necessarily attacking someone, but possibly knocking a child over on the sidewalk, which our neighborhood has children on the sidewalks at all times of the day. A woman runs a daycare out of her house 2 doors down from my house. The director continued to tell me that during this time of the kennel being at capacity, they are relying on the public to help contain roaming dogs, and that they will only send the dog warden out to retrieve dogs that are a danger to themselves or to the public. I re-expressed that they were both on my property digging in my flower beds and that they growled at me when I approached them. With the one dog being a pit bull, you should send the dog warden regardless. He proceeded to tell me that I must be confused as to what the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center's job is, to which I replied, apparently your jobs are only to come and retrieve vicious dogs. At this point, he cut me off mid-sentence and said, I did not say vicious. I said we will only retrieve dogs that are a danger to themselves or to the public. Realizing I was not getting anywhere with this conversation, I let him know he had answered my questions and the conversation was over. I am writing to the Montgomery County Commissioners to ask what is going on with our tax dollars that are funding the Animal Resource Center. How can they refuse to come and retrieve dogs at large when it is reported? It would be like the police refusing to respond to a trespassing call because the jail is full, and that is unacceptable. The Montgomery County Animal Resource Center is paid to provide a service and they are not fulfilling the entirety of their service. Following my incident, I did some research into the Animal Resource Center and followed their Facebook page. A week after my incident, the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center did a news release on television stating their kennel was full and they need people to come and adopt or foster dogs. If you look at the footage, many of the dogs are pit bulls or pit bull hybrids. If this is the case, the kennel is full and no one is adopting, I would attribute this to no one wanting to adopt pit bulls. Unfortunately, that does not leave us with a lot of options, but I do not think it is right that the Animal Resource Center is putting their other responsibilities on hold because they are not exploring other options such as other county shelters or euthanasia. Regarding the issue of danger to itself or vicious dog, it is stated in the Code of Ordinances for the City of Dayton, Division 4 Dogs, Section 91.50, Control of Dogs, quote, as used in this section, dangerous dog, nuisance dog, and vicious dog have the same meanings as in Section 955.11 of the Ohio Revised Code. When someone calls to the dog warden to report a dog that is either dangerous, nuisance, or vicious, it is the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center's job to take care of the problem. There are also various cities in Montgomery County that have ordinances declaring pit bulls vicious. Therefore, when the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center gets a call stating that there is a pit bull hybrid at large, they should automatically be dispatched. I am hoping that this report brings your attention to what is going on with county tax dollars at the Montgomery County Animal Resource Center. Thank you for your time. Thank you to Emily Bradford for guiding me through the steps to contact the commissioners, and thank you to Commissioner Dodge's secretary for hearing my statement on the day of the incident.
Commissioners, if possible, I'd like to address some of the comments by citizen.
Okay.
Thank you, commissioners. First, I'd like to thank the citizen and thank you, Emily, for the reading. Over the past few years, the Animal Resource Center has undergone an incredible transformation. We had a national animal welfare consulting firm called Team Shelter USA take a close look at our procedures in the ARC, and they made significant recommendations to us on how to do a better job in this area. Now, we have made great strides in serving the people and the pets of Montgomery County through effective public safety, humane animal welfare, and connecting pets to owners. The county and the ARC have put a lot of time and effort and funding into following the recommendations put forth by Team Shelter to provide the best care possible for animals in our facility. This is why the ARC recently was awarded the ARC, or the ARC of the Year. Like many places across the country, Montgomery County has a pet overpopulation. This results in overcrowding at local shelters and rescues. I completely disagree with the comments that were made because I do not believe that the answer to our pet overpopulation lies in euthanizing any one breed. These dogs, by no fault of their own, have ended up at our ARC, and it is a responsibility to try to place them in loving homes. I believe the problem must be solved with responsible pet ownership, including spaying and neutering. Occasionally, our shelter reaches maximum capacity, as it was when you called. It is during this time that we desperately need the community's help, whether that comes from the form of adoption, fostering, or rescuing. But it is during this time that we must carefully manage intake to maintain a safe environment for both animals and for our staff. We cannot bring in lost and stray dogs if there's nowhere to put them. Overpopulating the shelter poses a health risk to the animals, to include parvo, kennel cough, and other diseases that spread rapidly and crowd the shelter environment. Additionally, in many instances, including this one, bringing a dog to the shelter meant taking it further away from its home. Thankfully, the owner of the pit bull was quickly located. You asked why the ARC didn't outsource to other counties or euthanize animals when at capacity. The fact is, the Animal Resource Center does work with rescue organizations and other municipal shelters to help place animals in loving homes. But we cannot simply outsource services to surrounding counties because other counties are also facing pet overpopulation. They help when they can and have space, but like us, they are often full as well. Again, we cannot euthanize dogs just because we don't have space. We have to manage our herd. I do understand your frustration. And the fact of the matter is, it's going to take all of us in the community, the ARC, our resource partners, all of us to make a difference to ensure that Montgomery County remains a safe and welcoming place for people and pets alike. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to respond to the comments.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, next up, we have any comments by the county administrator?
Thank you, commissioners. Well, it is an exciting announcement that we had today. As you know, commissioners, Amazon announced this morning that they are coming here to Montgomery County and to the city of Union, and they are building a new distribution center near the Dayton International Airport. This is fantastic news. And commissioners, you have led the way in this area as it relates to the infrastructure needed to bring these businesses to the valley. We committed $700,000 to the infrastructure improvements currently under the construction on US 40 and the airport, which is part of a $12.6 million project to increase access to companies in the area and enhance safety. We've proven as a community our logistics credentials, and the location of I-70 and I-75 interchange and the access to the airport paired with our unique and eager workforce, low cost of doing business in the region makes this a win for Amazon and for other businesses in that area. Manufacturers and e-commerce really do belong together in the region. And I'd like to thank our economic development department that helped Amazon navigate areas like building permits so they could get the lease and prepare for construction. I would also like to congratulate and thank the City of Union, the mayor and the city manager, our transportation improvement district. They have done a great job, Steve Stanley and his team. And not last but not least, Paul, our county engineer. Without the work of Paul and his team and Gary, some of the road improvements that we needed to make some of these projects happen would not happen. So Paul, I can't see you because this giant image is on the screen, but I want to say thank you since you are here, and thank you to your team. Commissioners?
Well, I would just add that companies like Amazon obviously know the value of doing business in Montgomery County because they recognize that they could do so at a lower cost than many other areas, and that we have a strong workforce that can support Amazon and the many other companies in the county. So we're very excited and think we're the right place at the right time for this, for them to invest in our region. We're looking forward to it.
Yep. And, you know, we're going to be continuing to invest in our workforce. You know, we have the new Employment Opportunity Center that will open up this summer out in Trotwood. We have the Truck Driving Academy. We have the mobile workforce truck that brings resume writing and interview skills training to you and helps you acquire the skills that you need to get a good career going. All the resources you need to get a job is available to you. All you got to do is call our workforce development office and let them help you find your career.
And just to add, you know, we can't say this enough. We want employers to know, we want employees to know that the county provides grants up to $15,000 for individuals to complete training in the industries that are in high demand. Project Hire can reimburse up to 50% of eligible wages while they're being trained. And this is just a great program. And so often we hear people say, I didn't know a thing about that. Well, We got to just keep spreading that word, because it is, think about that, 50% for the whole time they train. And then the incumbent worker training program can also reimburse up to 90% of certain training for the company's existing employees, so that they already have, that are already employed there. And I remember an example of that was, well, I'm not called that now, I was thinking Bear, but it's Maley, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Maley. They did that. And so the programs and the resources are there, and you just have to contact our workforce development team for details.
Good. Okay. Well, on another matter, I just got back just a little bit ago because I was able to attend the ribbon cutting at the Gem City Market today. And that was so exciting. And they're going to be open their business to the public tomorrow at noon. That's Wednesday, tomorrow at noon, May 12th. You know, Montgomery County, we invested over $175,000 into this market because we believe having a full service grocery store is important for all communities and much needed in Northwest Dayton. I'm also excited to share some other news for our Stillwater Center residents and their families. Center Director Dr. Michelle Pierce Mobley and her staff have been planning an outdoor play space. Look at that. Isn't that great? Resident family members have not been allowed in the center for over a year because of the pandemic. So this development is huge because it allows our visitation and for the socialization for the residents. This is an especially big development for our youngest residents. You know, currently 13 of the 98 residents at Stillwater are between the ages of 1 and 15. Plans include a sand area, water table, shelter, a musical element, and swings that will accommodate wheelchairs. We plan to break ground in early July and have it ready for use by September. After the playground, we are planning for a second phase toward making the campus more child-friendly. This will involve converting one of our cottages to make it specifically for children. So this is just great news. Just very pleased about this. Thank you.
It really is. It's going to be beautiful.
Yep.
You know, the gym that they go over to is very nice as well. This will be great.
Yeah.
So I know we've noticed that people are having events, and people are you know, trying to get things done that they maybe put off and or had done, you know, remotely. But we got to join yesterday, First Lady DeWine at Sycamore State Park, and they cut the ribbon. We all cut the ribbon on Storybook Trail. And it was nice and muddy, so we all got a bit muddy yesterday, but it was the sun was out, and it was just great to see all the kids that were there. So the trail is based off a children's book called Daniel Finds a Poem, and that's about the beauty of poetry within a local park. So it's perfect. The Storybook Trail was launched in association with the Dollywood Foundation and the Ohio Governor's Imagination Library, which encourages young people to read and learn. Children 5 and under who are enrolled in the Imagination Library get a free book every month. And we launched the County Imagination Library a year and a half ago, and we have more than 12,000 children enrolled. And I want to thank Kelly Garris, who has been our point person on that, along with children's Jessica Sanders. Those two have really worked hard on this. You know, we were the first Metro County to say we're going to do this, and Mrs. DeWine yesterday acknowledged that. So it's great to tie it into the Imagination Library. The books, again, are free, high quality, and it's available to all children regardless of their family income. And so if you do a search for Montgomery County Imagination Library, the first link that pops up will take you directly to the enrollment page, and it's for children 0 to 5. And we all know why it's important to read. We want to make sure that they're maybe not reading at 5, but ready to read and ready for kindergarten. So it just really works, all goes together in our focus on our early learners.
And I absolutely love this concept. I love the program of the Imagination Library, but I love this concept. I'm so sorry I didn't get to be there.
Well, imagine that you weren't.
Well, I promise that I have got to go check it out when I'm able to. I have a little search.
Well, we all should walk through there because it was so muddy that
Yeah,
walk through.
we'll do that sometime.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, I've got a couple of comments here. I just wanted to mention that tomorrow is the end of Nurses Week, which was May 6th to the 12th. And as I said, I had surgery yesterday, so I had an ever more appreciation for the wonderful, wonderful care I got. And I grew up in a family where my grandmother, my aunt, and my mother were all nurses. So nurses are on a pedestal for me because I witnessed my whole lifetime how they go the extra mile for their patients and what else. So I just want to do a shout out for every nurse in this region for all you do, and especially after a pandemic year. I know it's challenging. But I also wanted to talk about a construction project by John Hole School down in Centerville. And I have to add a personal note to this, that in John Hole School is where in my first career, I was a teacher, and I did my practice teaching at John Hole, student teaching at John Hole. So that school has a special place for me, always in my heart. And the project got the attention of some second graders at John Hole. And Lindsay Locker's second grade class made thank you cards for the construction workers and delivered them in person. Is that not adorable or what? And especially to be teaching kids at this age, about all these different trades and how they help are necessary in our community. And the children got to check out the heavy equipment on the job sites and meet the crew. Then yesterday, County Engineer Paul Gruner, who is with us today, Project Manager Joe Dura, who is also with us today, and the University of Cincinnati co-op student Bernicia Walker stopped by to see the students at the school and brought them hard hats that said junior engineer on them. And I think we can't tell with the mask, but I think we're looking at a whole classroom of very excited second graders who I wouldn't be surprised one of them turns out to be an engineer someday. And you don't know if this is the project that inspires them to think about this for a career, because anybody who likes building and fixing, this is a wonderful career. So Paul, I'll turn it over to you. I'm sure you were there and the recipient of much smiles and good cheers.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. It was a fun event, and I want to thank teacher Lindsay Locker and the principal Lisa Mays for, well, first of all, for encouraging the children to write the thank you notes to the construction workers, which is a very, very great promotion that they did, and teaching the kids to be gracious and thankful to the workers on the roads. And then I'd like to thank them also to providing the hospitality yesterday and letting us come in and present the hard hats to the kids. So Deb Decker and Kevin Lavoie also and the communication staff helped put this together. And my wife Kathy put the stickers on the helmets. So
All right,
give her a shout out.
Go Kathy.
Yeah.
But the kids were very excited when they got them. The teacher only told them they were having some visitors. They didn't tell them they were going to get something, and so they were very excited. And then I asked them if they had any questions about the construction project, and the hands went up all over the room. They had lots of great questions. Why are we replacing the pipe, and how big is it, and why is the sidewalk white instead of gray? And one little girl did raise her hand and say, "I'm going to be an engineer." So,
Yay, just my point.
yes, right.
Yes.
Right. So it was a fun event, and kids really appreciated it, and it's a fun event all around. And this is the good side of the Whip Road Culvert project. So
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you guys are awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's a good story. Okay, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but those second graders all had masks on. They know what's going
did.
on. Yep, they sure do. So,
They
okay,
do.
everybody, wear your mask and get your vaccine. You don't even have to have an appointment anymore, so
Mhm.
we all have to chip in on this. Thank you. And our next meeting is next Tuesday, May 18th, 1:30, right here.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Have a great week.
Thank you.